U.S. Supreme Court today. It's also a decision that will directly affect 42 Cincinnati police officers laid off by City Council last month. Tonight, Nell Taylor tells us moves are already being taken to change the way those layoffs were made.
Those moves aren't being made by the city, they're being made by the officers who lost their jobs. Most of them were white men. 4 of them had more than a year's seniority over some who kept their jobs. Today's decision gave them the first hope that they could be police officers in Cincinnati again.
What happens if you get hired back?
I'd take the job and be grateful that I have a job.
Thomas Slade has been out of work since mid-May. He's one of the 4 officers who had seniority when the budget axe fell. But because the city had to comply with a lower court order requiring affirmative action instead of seniority to determine who would stay and who would go, he lost. Slade and his fellow officers are appealing that lower court order, but the decision could take a couple of months. Today, City Manager Sylvester Murray says he will await that decision. The attorney for the police officers, Don Harden, says there's no reason for the city to wait.
Mr. Murray will not rehire some of these people who obviously should be rehired. He'll sue them again, charging violation of the constitutional rights of the people who were illegally laid off.
In the meantime, Harden says he'll ask for a conference with the federal courts to get a quicker decision, a decision Thomas Slade has been waiting for since the layoffs were announced in January.
I believe us 4 from the 65th recruit class have a very good chance of getting our jobs back, and I think City Council should take a really good look at it and within a week at least hire us 4 back.
Do you think they will?
I sure hope so.
That may not be probable. In the end, though, the changes may only affect those 4 officers who have seniority. The other 38 were all hired on the same day. What Harden really hopes is to find some court remedy that would prevent any layoffs at all. He's still working on that.
How much longer can the officers really wait on a court decision?
Well, the officers, most of them now, have already put in applications to other police departments around the area. Most of them hope to stay here. Some of them, when they were recruited and became police officers for Cincinnati, had to move into the city and buy their own homes. Many of them are hurt by the layoffs because they've only been in those houses maybe 6 months or a year, and they may have to move or lose their houses because they can't pay the mortgage. However, whatever way the decision goes, someone's going to be hurt, because if those 4 officers are rehired, 4 others will have to be laid off.
Okay, Nell, thank you very much. Another ruling.
Sylvester Murray has been approved and will be filed Monday. It is on behalf of 4 laid-off Cincinnati police officers who have 14-month seniority over any of their laid-off policemen. The suit was prompted by the Supreme Court decision earlier this week that cites cannot ignore seniority in layoffs. 42 police officers were laid off by affirmative action.
Alleges a violation of their constitutional right to entitlement to employment and to pay, and will seek punitive damages against Sylvester Murray as the appointing authority for refusing to bring these people back in view of the Supreme Court decision.
The other 38 laid-off police officers are represented in an appeal the FOP filed after the city laid off by affirmative action. A 27-year-old Clifton Avenue man
has joined Cincinnati's Fraternal Order of Police in trying to change an order that protected minorities on the police department from being laid off, and 4 laid-off policemen are suing Cincinnati and its city manager to get their jobs back. Eyewitness 12's Deborah Dixon reports on these latest legal developments.
4 laid-off police officers have 14-month seniority over the 38 other laid-off officers. Seniority was ignored in the layoffs to keep blacks and women on the department. But earlier this week, the Supreme Court said cities must not do that. And these officers believe that ruling makes it clear they should not have been laid off in the first place and now should be brought back.
1 week after we were laid off, us 4 approached council and asked council to rehire us 4 because we had 14-month seniority over most of these people who were laid off. Council at that time refused to hire us.
They had a chance to hire us back. They refused to. Then they offer us civilian jobs. I've been hired as a policeman, not a civilian. I want to be a policeman again. If they have the money to hire us back as civilians, they have the money to hire us back as police officers.
The city has made no effort to rehire us since the Supreme Court ruling. They're showing no effort, so we're going to take it on our own.
Fraternal Order of Police attorney Don Harden said the suit may later be expanded to include all officers laid off instead of blacks and women with less seniority. But the FOP will fight to stop any layoffs.
I do not want to see, nor does the FOP want to see, any black or any female taken off the force. There is no excuse for it. The money is there. They can bring these people back, and I'm going to make the city of Cincinnati meet its commitment to affirmative action.
But the city says it's still under a federal order by Judge Carl Rubin, who previously said the city must lay off by affirmative action rather than seniority.
But Hardin says there's nothing in that order to keep the city from bringing back improperly laid off police officers. And that order could change. The FOP and the United States are filing a joint motion to be released from Judge Rubin's decision. And Judge Rubin has said he will consider that motion. Deborah Dixon, Eyewitness 12, District 1, downtown.